If you take UN Security Council reform, the biggest opposer is not a Western country. So let's get the totality of the problem right. So I think the reality is we'll have to battle bit by bit.
This is for Dr. Jaishankar. Countries will find solutions and partners who are willing to work with them. So we could say that it's not just a post-truth world, it's also a multi-truth world where we all have our own truths. For India, the truth is that we have a historical relationship with Russia that the West needs to accept. For US, you could say the truth is that they will give this relentless support to Israel no matter what. How do you then find a middle ground, and how do you impress upon your Western partners that they must accept India's truths?
Well, look, it will be everybody's endeavor to find middle ground. The reality in many cases is we won't find middle ground. We will find some ground, some common ground. But the idea that everybody would agree on the most important issues of the day is a bit of a fantasy. The fact is, competition is for real. You spoke about camp politics. Sometimes there's a logic to it. President Quiroga spoke about, how institutions are, antiquated and sticking with the old rules. I agree, but I think in addition to the old issues, there are also the new issues. I mean, if today there is, let us say, take the big debates of the day, connectivity, debt, trade. Now, how these are leveraged today? These are not necessarily all coming out of the West. So, the West, as the dominant force earlier, is largely responsible for what, where we are today. But I think the new players haven't helped. I mean, again, if you take UN Security Council reform, the biggest opposer is not a Western country. So let's get the totality of the problem right. So I think the reality is we'll have to battle bit by bit to create groups which will push for change. I would say, on many issues, you will get different combinations of countries. And we'll have to live with a long period of incremental progress before we get to some kind of landing point, because as Anwar Gargash said, you're not going to get a second San Francisco conference.
Dr. Jaishankar, is that a responsibility India is keen to take? Do you want to be the bridging power?
No, I think we are a bridging power to a great degree. We showed that at the G20. I would say whether it is COVID or today, some of the regional conflicts, people would see us as relatively objective, unbiased, I mean, I agree with my Dutch colleague that, at least to the extent we can get common ground, we should strive for common ground. It will never be perfect. There will be many issues where we won't be able to get common ground, but that should not deter us from seeking it where we can. I think here, a lot of what India is trying to do, I mean, there are different names, but the idea of a kind of multi-vector policy, what in our own language we call like Vishwamitra, which is like a friend of the world, you maximize your relationships. I think that's the direction we are trying to take ourselves and take the world.